Across the tech industry, there are women fighting to get their voices heard and listened to in order to get on a more equal pegging with their male counterparts. The month of March, which is Women's History Month, is a time to remember these formidable women for their efforts and to reflect on their achievements throughout history. A key fundamental part of celebrating these women in March is to ask important questions about how they overcome challenges, broke barriers, and how they think the landscape for females in tech has changed. Confidence Stavely, the founder of CyberSafe Foundation, is one of the most celebrated female cybersecurity leaders in Africa who has been recognized globally for her achievements. And she'll be talking about how the industry is embracing diversity. Enjoy the chat. Confidence, you are a woman who started your journey into tech decades ago, and based on how you speak about it, I dare say it's been an exciting one for you. How much do you think the industry has changed since you joined?
I would say a lot has happened, a lot has changed, and I've witnessed quite some significant changes, particularly in the advancement of technology. I mean, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, we're not talking about AI and and all of its effects in the technology space like we're currently speaking about it. It's literally knocking on every door, right? There's a lot more diversity initiatives that are looking to bring more women into the technology field. I mean, I have memories of going for interviews and being asked when I'm going to get married. And you know why I was asked those questions, right? They're literally trying to gauge when I would want to have children and how that's going to affect my dedication at work and my work output. So I'm no longer hearing those sort of questions. Of course, I'm going to speak about later on the kind of things that has morphed into. So there have been those changes. There are also emergence of new opportunities just across the whole tech landscape. There's also what I would call an evolution of tech tools and methodologies and a growth of women's presence in leadership roles.
Now, I know we keep asking this question every year, but achieving gender diversity in the workplace is something organizations are constantly working towards. But where do women stand in the tech world at this time?
The stats still show we are very much in the minority. In fact, some global statistics also show that while we've made some progress, we're making progress and progressing at the same time. And there are explicable reasons for this still, because there's still quite a lot of lip service. We have quite a lot of closet misogyny still happening. We have quite a lot of things that are happening that are driving women out of the space or discouraging women as much as we are pulling them in. So we've done very well at selling the campaign of women in tech. We've done very well at attracting women generally worldwide, and we're making huge strides with that. And albeit slowly, those changes are coming in. But I still want to throw a particular stat that the World Bank shared, which is that, and I'm going to interpret it in the context so people can imagine what we're talking about. 1 in every 10 cybersecurity professionals in Africa is a woman. 1. So while looking at how the space has evolved, I'm no longer an outlier per se, but then I'm still grossly in the majority. And the girls that I get to train on my program called the Cyber Girls Fellowship, which is really the biggest cybersecurity training and mentorship program for women on the continent, I still have women going to the workplace and tell me, in my team of 10, in my team of 5, I'm the only woman. So while this progress has been made, there are a lot of initiatives promoting gender diversity and inclusion, and all of these initiatives are gaining really incredible momentum. You would find that on Women's International Day, a lot of organizations are going to splash money recognizing women. Women are taking up various roles, contributing their unique perspectives and skills to the industry's growth. But then the stats I just shared with you still stands.
Confidence, going back to the stats and, of course, corroborating what you said, despite the increased representation, there's still a low percentage of jobs in the tech sector held by women. Well, I mean, according to Forbes, women currently hold only 26.7% of tech-related jobs, and large tech firms with more than 10,000 employees report women's representation at 26.2%. Now, there's no doubt we've made progress, but we're still far from where we want to be. And so, of course, there are clamors for change, for change to happen faster. How can we achieve this, pushing for more diversity?
I would say there is a combination of things, because it's the combination of things as well that's causing where we are currently. And I would share a bit of a story so people understand. I'll share two major stories. Months ago, a few months ago, one of the girls I trained came back to me saying that she wasn't offered a role that she was qualified for because she was a married mom. And even during her interview, she got asked how she was going to be able to juggle that. And then she answered that question, giving the panel, a clear case of how she was going to go about managing, juggling her home and also juggling, the job, and making sure that the job doesn't get to suffer. Even with that laid out, she was not offered that role. Now, if we look at that, and I'm saying what I'm sharing with you right now is not a case that is rare. We keep hearing those sort of cases. Last week, somebody was clearly told in an interview that they don't want to hire a woman because women can come with a lot of trouble. So, and you can guess what that trouble is. A lot of organizations and employers are not willing to create a welcoming environment that really just helps women thrive.
Well, we'll certainly, keep these conversations going so we can, until we see the change we hope to achieve. But as we know, we will be celebrating women all through this month, right? This year's IWD theme is, inspire inclusion, and the United Nations is working with the theme, invest in women, accelerate progress. Now, both themes highlight the importance of breaking barriers, promoting inclusivity, and investing in women's potential to drive positive change. Do you think, obviously, enough is not being done to help women get into the tech industry, but what more can we do?
Great. I really like that question you asked. What more can we do? I would say we need to double down on our investment in women. And I'm going to say this because a lot of times we feel like, okay, there's a lot going on for women and there's not enough going on for another gender. But I want to also share that women are unfairly hit by unemployment and underemployment in every single major economy, even in Africa that you can think about, even in Nigeria, right? So we need to double down on that investment, because an investment in a woman clearly benefits not just her, but our entire family and community in many cases. So there needs to be doubling down on that investment. Another key thing is we need to have unconscious bias training in all of our organizations. People need to know, and people need to be conscious around, whether or not they are biased. We need that training of so people know that whether or not they have unconscious bias. So that kind of training to create environments where women feel valued and empowered to advance is very important. I shared the case of someone who made that funny joke, and true to myself, for me, I won't laugh at that joke, but I won't stop at not laughing at that joke. I reached out to that person after the event, and he said, "Oh, it was just an innocent joke. Like he didn't see anything wrong with it." And the panelists, he led on that panelist to also double down on that joke, right? And if I was in that room, I would most likely have stood up and left. But the person, when I met him, said, "Oh, it wasn't a joke. It wasn't anything. It was just a joke." So he didn't see anything in it, and he did not realize his own unconscious bias. So we need that training to happen. We also need companies that need to implement policies such as flexible work arrangements to allow for women to be able to take on all of the important buckets of their life, because as a society, we actually advance on women being able to enjoy some flexibility in the workplace. We also need to address systemic barriers and biases.
Well, it's always great to talk to you, Confidence Stavely, founder of Cyber Safe Foundation. And of course, well done for all the work you've been doing to groom girls and women in tech.
Thank you so much for having me.